agree.
So I'm starting the stream. If you want to start with the date, the time.
Today is January 5th, 2026. The time now is 7:11. And this is a joint meeting of Parks, Recreation, Sanitation, and Environmental Protection and Transportation Committee meeting. Introductions.
So I know somebody just came to the front door, so you want me to just run down the list of what I have and you can correct me if it's wrong?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so for Parks, Janice, she's marked absent. Debbie's in person. Junior Campbell's excused. Kadira Lowe's excused. Jackie Lutnick is in person. Lisa Soto is absent. Dear Taylor's in person. Joseph Thompson is excused. Dwayne Williams is absent.
He just texted me, he's traveling, he's not gonna make it.
Okay. All right, so then I will mark him excused.
Lisa Soto just showed up.
Okay, perfect.
We count her for a quorum.
So it's still not a quorum of that committee, but obviously it's better than nothing. And this is going to transportation. We have Rabbi Fuchs, the chair, Hazel Muir, the chair, Debbie Kowalik, and Lisa Valella, all present. Correct?
Correct.
All right, it's all yours.
Okay, reading of the conduct statement, I'll read it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Meetings must be held in a professional and hostile-free environment. The following rules of conduct are applicable to members of the public, Community Board 11, and Community Board 11 staff. Any action or behavior that disrupts or interferes with Community Board 11 business will not be tolerated during any Community Board 11 meeting and may result in individuals being asked to leave. If the action or behavior continues, this may be considered disrupting the peace, and where appropriate authorities may be summoned. If the meeting is held remotely, that person may be muted or expelled for the remainder. Repeated violations by the same person or group of people may result in further action by the community board. All public speakers must address the full board or committee with their concerns. Election ring for a position other than an officer of Community Board 11 is prohibited. Engaging in acts of violence, including threats, are grounds for immediate suspension of the right to attend meetings, pending review by the Bylaws and Ethics Committee. Respect the equality, diversity, and privacy of all people by respecting and valuing differences of culture and opinion. Refrain from unpleasant and disparaging remarks and other actions. Abstain from all forms of harassment by actively discouraging it. Disseminating false information is prohibited.
For some reason Larry can hear us, but I don't know if that's on our end or is it?
Larry, can you hear us now?
He's on mute.
I'm remote and I can hear you.
Larry, can you hear us now? Everybody else in the public, can you hear us?
We're all on mute.
Yeah, they all.
We can hear you.
We can hear you, yes.
We can hear you.
I know the Parks and Transportation people, they can unmute themselves. Okay, review of meeting minutes. Do we have any transportation minutes? Yeah,
We didn't have a meeting last month.
yeah, we didn't have a meeting last month. Okay, so we have meeting minutes of,
Can we read over them? Or,
you want a synopsis?
last meeting, it was December 10th, we had the presentation from Propel. If you look at the meeting notes, I put the full presentation from there. I converted it to a PPT from a PDF. We had the Friends of Laredo Playground Marcos Quintana came to discuss starting Friends of Floretto Park. And then in gallery, we had Diana and Camelia speak, giving kudos to Marcos, and they gave some recommendations for things for him to do. And then we talked about a motion of letter of support for the Propel presentation.
That was tabled, right?
Yeah, it was tabled until this meeting. There was some old business talking about the Zimmerman Zimmerman Park bathroom, but that was addressed by Charles, and the meeting postponed to 8:40.
Okay. Okay, all right, number 3, Metro North Penn Station access. Who here online is from the Metro North and is speaking?
So Joe O'Donnell is from the MTA, and I'll primarily be delivering the presentation. So if I could have access to share screen.
Ha-
You should just be able to hit the share button on the bottom.
Yeah, you should be able to just do it yourself.
I didn't know if I needed to be, elevated or any of that nature. Anything that. Can you see?
We are validated.
You can see the screen? You can see the
Yes.
presentation? All right, great.
Just so you know, I affected somebody else on this similar situation. You had the wrong year on there. It's gonna
That's a great catch.
happen.
Great catch. It is my first day back in the office today. So, first day in 2026. And I do apologize. Typically we come to meet you all in person and walk through these updates, but I am slightly under the weather, and I felt like it wasn't fair to expose anybody coming back off of the holidays and to the cold that I have today. So apologize if I'm sniffly, and then again, also apologize if for not being there in person today.
Okay, no problem.
So just for those of you who may not be aware, I may not have spoken to before, my name is Joe O'Donnell. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Community Affairs for MTA Construction and Development. We are the arm of the MTA who is delivering the Penn Station Access Project. It is fundamentally a Metro North Railroad project, but underneath the umbrella of the MTA, the various operating agencies such as New York City Transit, buses, bridges and tunnels, Long Island Railroad, and Metro North, they all operate underneath the overarching MTA umbrella. Construction and Development, who I work for, is the arm of the MTA who delivers these projects. Historically, in capital projects, large mega projects, but since 2020 and the reorganization of the MTA, it's pretty much all of the construction projects moving forward. So here to give you an update on the status of the Penn Station Access Project. I'll go into some detail on where we are with work over 2025 and where we're going in 2026. I'll give you an update on the community engagement. Schedule updates is really the crux of why we're here today, or sort of the big news that we have. Many of you may have already heard, because it was in the news in the end of last year, that we had reported to our board, the MTA board, that there were delays associated with this project. I think, as I've spoken to you before, and Rabbi, you probably remember the last time I was here, we were in the process over 2025 of reevaluating our schedule based on the ability of Amtrak to live up to their commitments. We had negotiated a couple of long-term outages with the Amtrak in an effort to try to recoup some of those potential schedule delays. So then we took the middle to latter portion of 2025 to really understand how significant those delays were. Was there any real ability to bring that schedule back on track? And if not, what needed to be done to, maximize efficiencies to get this project delivered as quickly as possible? So I have some of those updates for you now, and what we see as a plan. And when I say we, that's the MTA. And then your typical how to contact us and question and answer slides for those of you who may not have all of the information on how to get a hold of us. I'll go through the upfront portion of this pretty quickly because you all are familiar with this project already, having lived through it and probably lobbied for it in the past, or at least clamored for it. And lobbied is probably the wrong word, but so the Penn Station Access Project I mentioned is a Metro North project. It's going to bring new rail service to and from direct rail service to and from Penn Station. Essentially, it's going to be the reciprocal of the Long Island Railroad service that goes into Grand Central Terminal now. So those slots, if you will, that are freed up from those Long Island Railroad trains that used to terminate at Penn Station, that now terminate at Grand Central, it frees up space for us to bring new service into Penn Station. So we're going to be doing that through Metro North and bringing Metro North service into Penn Station. In the process, we'll be creating 4 new accessible stations in the Bronx, which is a underserved area, reducing commute times to Midtown by up to 50 minutes each way. It's also going to improve regional transportation connectivity by all of the additional transportation options that will become available, not only by coming into Penn Station and being able to connect to Long Island Railroad, New York City's subway system and bus networks, the PATH, New Jersey Transit, and Amtrak. Those 4 new stations that I mentioned are going to be at Co-op City, Morris Park, Parkchester Van Ness, and Hunts Point. Oop, went the wrong way there. So some of the components, we're not only creating the 4 new stations, we're essentially turning what is being operated by Amtrak as a 2-track railroad, and we're turning that footprint into a 4-track railroad. That is one of the beauties of this project. It doesn't require wholesale property acquisition and new tunnels and things of that nature. There are some minimal property acquisitions for the siting of our vertical circulation elements. We need to get folks into and out of the station. So we are going to have to put our staircases and our elevators someplace outside of the actual track. So there was some property acquisition required for that. But by and large, we're really maximizing the existing Amtrak footprint here and creating the new service. In order to do that, we're going to be creating or updating and creating 19 miles of track, 4 new interlockings, and interlockings are what are used to switch trains from one track to another. We're going to be reconfiguring one interlocking. We're going to be creating 4 new substations. Those are the power substations that supply the power not only for our service, but we're going to also be upgrading one of the existing substations there along the alignment to bolster and bring Amtrak's infrastructure to a state of good repair and maximize their ability to maintain service for the next 50 plus years. We're going to be doing 4 bridge rehabilitations. This is a very low-lying area that's prone or susceptible to flooding. So we're going to be installing all new drainage infrastructure. And then we will be expanding the existing New Rochelle Yard. It currently operates as a maintenance facility. But eventually, when we expand it, it will also allow us to start and terminate trains there so that when service is running, we can, the trains are that much closer. We don't have to wait for a train to come out of Stamford or Bridgeport or even New Haven to get up into the Bronx in order for Bronxites to utilize service. Trains will be stored locally or closer in the New Rochelle Yard. The crux of what I'm here to talk to you about today is just to give you an update on the schedule updates. As I mentioned, we updated our board on this in October of 2025. We had originally came out of the gate with an idea that we were going to deliver service by 2027. Originally, it was August of 2027, and that was contingent upon a whole host of agreements from Amtrak. As I mentioned, we are maximizing the Amtrak right-of-way to create a 4-track railroad. So not only do we need Amtrak's permission to be on their property to do this, we need their oversight, we need their concurrence on plans. So there were a lot of deliverables that we were expecting on their side and that they entered into a contract with us to deliver that they weren't living up to. We identified some of those problems early on in 2025. And as I mentioned, we tried to mitigate those delays or impacts by working with Amtrak on long-term outages. And what those long-term outages allowed us to do was shut down one track of that 2-track railroad so that our folks could focus on doing the work safely and efficiently without fear of a train bearing down on them or without negatively impacting Amtrak's ability to run service and keeping all of Amtrak's service on one track. They allowed us to do that between Labor Day or Memorial Day and Labor Day. And then we evaluated where we were at the end of that. We did that twice with them, once in 2024, once in 2025. And then we determined at the end of those long-term outages that we couldn't move the schedule back to get it to the point where we could have all 4 stations delivered by 2027 as anticipated. So per October update to the MTA board, if we were to wait for all 4 stations to be completed, we would not be able to, at this point, run service until Q2 of 2030. And that is contingent upon Amtrak living up to some of the commitments that they had already, shown that they were unable to live up to. So we were skeptical of even the ability to do that. What we did present to them, to Amtrak and our board, was the fact that we do believe that we could deliver limited service by 2027, which would allow us to start temporary service in 2027 and allow us to finish all of the rest of the stations, the permanent stations, by 2030. So the reason we believe this to be the case is if you take a look at past experience on similar projects, we delivered the Long Island Railroad's 3rd track project, which was a similar upgrade and expansion of existing infrastructure with, in fact, the same contractor, the Helmar International joint venture that's currently working on this project is the same joint venture that delivered the Long Island Railroad 3rd track project, which was delivered on time and $100 million under budget. So we know we have the expertise, we know we have the right personnel, we know we have the right contractors on board to deliver this project. The one wild card, for lack of a better word, has been Amtrak and Amtrak's ability to deliver on their commitments. And we saw some of this in East Side Access. If anybody who's familiar with the East Side Access project, which is that Grand Central Madison service that I mentioned from Long Island Railroad trains terminating now at Grand Central, that project was plagued by delays. So we think we have the right team. We think we have the right contractor. We think we have the right plan. We just need Amtrak to get on board. Some instances of where we feel they've fallen short. And again, I don't mean to suggest that the MTA is wholly without blame. Our contractor they could have done a better job in some instances, but by and large, when it comes to schedule, it's really contingent upon Amtrak. In the first 2 years of the project, we were promised 38 outages in year 2 and 10 weekend outages in year 1, so a total of 48 outages. Again, this allows us to do work and consistently and effectively and efficiently, because if our crews have to get on and off the tracks every 15 minutes, every half hour, every hour in order to let a train pass, it doesn't really lend itself to effective and efficient work. They were only able to deliver on 7 of those 48 outages, or 14%, in the first 2 years. Similarly, from a staffing standpoint, they did not have enough staff to support the work, and this is a rule or a regulation that they've imposed upon us and themselves. Is they want someone looking over their shoulder or our shoulder while we do this work. As the owner of the right of way, that's fine, that's their prerogative. But if they don't have the staff to allow us to do the work, it's counterintuitive to getting the work done. There were 98 days where they did not have an Amtrak foreman available to oversee our work. 77 days where they didn't have an electric traction lineman available to oversee that work. So the inconsistency in the rules of how this work needs to get done and can be done, is limiting our ability to deliver the scheduled work as anticipated. We were able to only deliver, because of these inefficiencies, 53 activities per month, when in fact we had planned for 92 activities a month. So that's a little more than half. So, we've asked publicly Amtrak to take responsibility we need them to be accountable because we believe, and again, this is not about finger pointing. This is laying out the facts at this point. We understand that there will be time enough at the end of this project to have very hard conversations about who owes who what, to get this job delivered. But we want to get this job delivered, so that we can start this service for the folks in the Bronx and get out of everybody's hair. There has been some progress since October. There has been conversations. There has been a willingness to make additional commitments, but we had those commitments or similar commitments when we started this project. In fact, the schedule that we arrived at and presented to the public was based on those commitments. So, commitments are great, but we need action. We need Amtrak to take action to get this project back on track. Unfortunate railroad pun. So we need them to cooperate in achieving a new schedule and a new completion date that they can live up to. We need them to allow us to commence the temporary service in 2027, because again, we can't run service on their right of way without their permission. And then, like I said, we'll sit down and we'll have a conversation at the end of this or as things progress, and we'll hash out the cost impacts, because as you know, time is money, and as this project stretches out longer than anticipated, there are resulting cost impacts associated with that. So in order to reach the 2030 date, that we're now projecting, we need Amtrak to commit to double block outages. We need them to eliminate this this requisite that they have for a outage for track hardening. They require us to leave the track alone after we work on it for a week before they can run trains on it, and we can do any more work. We would like them, since they're the experts and it's their system, to take over the catenary and signal power work for this section, this 19 miles of track. They are the ones that, it's the Amtrak service that runs on the catenary system. They know it, the ins and outs, so they could do this and deliver this work much more effectively and efficiently than us, which again would allow us to pick up some of the slack here. We need them to increase the force account, which is essentially those overseers for us to do our work. And we need them to embrace design build. One of the real barriers to the effective delivery of this project is the I don't want to say insane, because again, it's their prerogative, but they have to review every document, every plan, every drawing in more detail than one would think necessary, because they have not yet embraced design build. Part of the reason why we hired Helmar for this job is because we know their track record. They've delivered for us on similar projects of this nature in the past. So we lean on contractors in a design build environment to bring their expertise and their innovation to the table to help us deliver the project more effectively, efficiently, and safely. Amtrak has not, gotten to the point where they've been able to put their faith in the contractors. They want to, belts and suspenders, everything. And, we understand some of that, but we need them to, more embrace more the design build method in order to get this project done. So that temporary service that I mentioned, what that would look like, should Amtrak allow us to do that, is we would be able to allow for temporary service at Parkchester Van Ness, Morris Park, and Co-op City. What we would do is we would build temporary platforms there while we complete the permanent platforms in the stations in order to allow embarkation and debarkation at those stations. We would not be allowed. We would not be able to do that at Hunts Point because of the low-lying nature of the Hunts Point station. It's down in the cut there, essentially in a ravine below grade. So we would not be able to effectively put in a temporary platform and still complete the work on the permanent station and get folks in and out of there in order to get on and off the trains. We do think that we can manage this effectively at Parkchester Van Ness, Morris Park, and Co-op City. That would result in, and this is by 2027, 5 trains in the AM peak going into the West Side Central Business District or Penn Station, and there would also be 2 trains coming out. Those would head into the Bronx and to points north. And then there would be 5 trains coming out in the PM because of that reverse peak volume. And then there would also be hourly bi-directional service between 6 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. This is our plan. This is our plan to sort of minimize the negative impacts of the schedule delays to at least deliver this temporary service by 2027. We still are beholden to Amtrak to allow for this to happen. So, just want to make you aware of that, and we will certainly keep you up to speed on those conversations as they happen. So now to talk a little bit about the good news of 2025, what we were able to progress and get done. We were able to make a lot of progress with the new tracks and drainage. We've upgraded multiple bridges and in fact installed a new bridge span. We've upgraded the power systems, and as you'll see, the stations in all 4 areas are starting to take shape. So with regard to the new tracks and the drainage, Leggett interlocking was successfully commissioned in July of 2025. As I've spoken to you all in the past before, Leggett was critical for us because that is the southernmost interlocking. And as I mentioned, the interlockings are how we move trains from one track to the other. So this allowed us to move trains, Amtrak trains, from track 1 to 2 or 2 to 1 as far south as humanly possible before it got into the work area, and allowed us to do more work more effectively and efficiently. Over at Parkchester Van Nest, we've gotten some track work done. The existing track 1 demolition is complete. We've installed the new track 3 and the new drainage system. The components installed across the project corridor so far. We've installed 54% of the project's needed manhole structures, 47% of the drainage pipe, and 59% of the detention tanks. Because as I say, this is a low-lying area prone to flooding. So we're going to remove that water as it starts to accumulate and send it off to detention tanks to be dispersed. As far as those new bridges that I mentioned and the upgraded bridges, over at Bronxdale Avenue Bridge, phase 1 is complete. The girders for track 3 were installed at the Eastchester Road Bridge. North Bay demolition and footing installation is complete at Pelham Lane Bridge. And over at Bronx River Bridge, we've launched into place the new structure. You can see in the lower left-hand corner of the screen there, that was the new span that was prepared to be launched there. So we actually pulled it across and set it into place. It was constructed on site, prefabricated and constructed or assembled there, and then launched into place. That work was complete. You should all be receiving, and when I say you all, I'm speaking specifically to the community board here and potentially some of the public if you are on our mailing list, more about how to get on that if you're not later. But you should be receiving updates on any of this bridge work, especially as it relates to our ability or the need to do any lane modifications on the roadways below so that we could do that work safely above, not only safely for our workers, but safely for the motorists and pedestrians traveling beneath the bridge. So when we work on those bridges, we typically will close a lane or combine lanes in order to, do that work in a unencumbered area where there is no pedestrian or vehicular traffic traversing as well. Let's see. So as far as the power system upgrades go, if you can see on the upper right-hand side of the screen, that's all new encased conduit that's been installed. Electrical power and water does not play well together, so we encase it in conduit to keep it safe from the elements. It's also going to be subterranean underneath the earth, but the water still gets down into the soil, so we encase it in conduit in order to safeguard it even further. The lower right-hand side of the screen, you see the overhead catenary system, the whole structure itself, and that what looks like a football crossbar or a goalpost, if you will, that the train is going under, that green train that you see. That's the portal. And then the column is the upright, and then the caisson is the concrete anchor or footing that the whole configuration is attached to. So over at Oak Substation, the surveying is complete there. At Van Ness Substation, the concrete pads have all been installed and the conduit installation is underway. At the Co-op City substation, the foundation work is underway, and the conduit installation is complete. We're replacing 100 plus year old infrastructure here, catenary infrastructure. So there's a lot that needs to get done. And again, not only for our service, but to maintain the efficiency and effectiveness of Amtrak service. We're effectively bringing their service. This is work that they would have had to do in the next several years to ensure the longevity of their service. But we're doing it for them as part of this work here. Over at Parkchester Van Ness in Zone 1, the catenary system is complete. Across the project so far, we have completed 78% of the caissons. So those are the footings. The columns, which are the uprights, we've completed 45% of those across the entire project. And then 29% of the crossbars that span the track have been completed project-wide. So the money makers here, I feel like a lot of this stuff goes unseen and is sort of stealth because it's in the right of way, it's infrastructure, so folks don't really see the work necessarily taking place. What sort of signals for you all or for the layperson that something is happening is really seeing the stations themselves start to take shape. So at all 4 locations, we have progress on the stations. At Hunts Point at the south entrance, on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see the underground utilities and the foundation installation is complete. You could see that that head house over there in the background, that historic building, that Cass Gilbert building. And then at the north entrance, the foundation work is underway as well. Over at Morris Park, at the north entrance, foundation work is underway. And at the south entrance, the below grade utilities and foundation installation is complete. So all that gray concrete, that slab that you see is the foundation work. And then the rebar coming up out of that is what the uprights and the walls and the rest of the station components will be formed on. Oops, sorry, went the wrong way. Over at Parkchester Van Ness at the main entrance, even more work going on there. You're actually seeing, a lot more of the upright steel. The foundation and the underground utility installation is complete. The entrance steel installation is underway. And if you can see, the crane here has a bunch of cables affixed to precast concrete stairs that they actually fabricate offsite and then deliver to the location, and then the crane will place these stairs into the steel structure. So if you can see in the back of the photo here, there's already one in place, one of the stairs in place, and this one's being lifted into place now. On the right-hand side of the screen at Co-op City, at the east and west entrance, the drainage and electrical utilities and foundation installation is complete, and then the water utility installation is underway. So a lot of foundation work going on at all 4 station locations, some of the rebar coming up out of those foundations, and at Parkchester Van Ness, at the main entrance, you've already got a lot of the upright steel and the stairs going in already. So again, a lot of progress on those station entrances. I won't spend too much time on this to our own horn. I have Molly Hollister and Eric Wisdom and Caitlin also from our consultants from our community outreach team. They are great about going out into the community, and these are some examples of the various elements of them being out in the community, not only presenting to community boards such as yourself, all 4 of the station areas, but meeting with the elected officials, meeting with any of the civic groups, meeting with the schools, participating in STEM events. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the schools that are along the alignment area here to really bring this mega project that's being delivered in their backyard into the classroom and tie it into the curriculum that the students are learning about in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And the outreach team does a great job of bringing engineers, bringing geologists, bringing designers in to talk to the students, and giving them some, real tangible results or examples of why they need to learn algebra and potentially geometry. And I'm in communications because math was not my thing, so I would have really appreciated if somebody could have explained to me why I needed to learn algebra back in the day. So it's a way to tie what's going on in their own backyard practically into what's going on in the classroom. Excuse me. And these are the ways to stay informed. We have a dedicated project hotline. For those of you who may be on the phone and can't see the screen, the hotline number is 347-263-7837. It is a project-related hotline, so I do caution you if this is an emergency. Please call 911 first. If it is for questions, concerns, or comments about the project, feel free to utilize that number. It's 347-263-7837. We do have a dedicated project email where you can send us commentary. You can sign up at the project website. You can go to mta.info and go to our projects page, navigate to the Penn Station Access page, and there you can click on the sign up for updates and newsletters. You can tailor it to as much information as you want or as little as you want. We don't want to spam anybody. So if you only want to hear about one station or all stations, you can click on the stations that you want to hear about and sign up for just information on those respective stations. And with that, I will turn it back over to you all for any questions, comments, or dialogue that you want to have.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I turn it back over to the committee to, I don't know whether they want to go through their questions, the general public, how they want to handle it, but I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the time is now 7:48. We have another committee here that has to meet. So I am going to ask committees. We can take questions, but if we take questions, that will not end for a while. I have a feeling because this was a lot of information. What we could do, Mrs. Chairwoman, is, but he'll have to hang out. That's the problem. I was gonna do the Parks one and then take all the questions. How much time do you have? Does he hear me?
He should.
Joseph?
Yeah, no, sorry. I had just muted myself so you don't have to hear me sniffling while you're taking care of your business. I had to unmute.
How much time do you have? When do you have to go bye-bye or go to sleep or whatever?
Oh, that's all relative. So I'll hang out.
Okay, so I guess the question is, how long are we gonna talk about this proposed access road through Bruns Park? What do you
So
say?
that's separate of the.
Rabbi, this our presentation is 5 slides, so mercifully we can, go through it and, we can answer your questions as needed or take it offline. So we want to be respectful of everyone's time.
Keep him there.
One there that probably wants to go home and sleep also, but
So,
we're good with what you want.
Okay, in the meantime, Joseph, can you put one of the, community board members just asked for the contact for the school outreach stuff, if you can put that in the chat?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so now we're gonna call upon DOT for this 5-slide presentation. And please, everybody that have questions from transportation, hold your questions.
That was a good
And we will now get a presentation about the access road through Bruns Park. It's all yours.
So, for hosting us. My name's Rolando Infante. I'm the Special Assistant Public Information Officer for Region 11, which is New York City for State DOT. I'm here joined by my colleagues, the project manager.
I'm sorry, can you slow down just a little bit? Thank you.
Do you have sense?
Yes, 5.
Yes.
Can you-
I said Joseph to remove his slides so Rolando can share his slides.
The flies.
But you can hear me okay, right?
Yes, we just asked you to slow it down a little bit.
Oh, sorry, it's the Queens in me, sorry. Okay, so I'm joined by my colleagues, project manager, Roberto. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. My colleagues, project manager Roberto Rodriguez, the engineer in charge, Samuel Rodriguez, and by our community liaison, Anthony Sarvadeo, who will be leading this presentation. This project, I know we're talking about the access road, is part of the replacement to replace two Bronx River Parkway bridges. It's a safety and mobility improvement project from East Tremont and Bronx Park. As a total, it's a commitment from Governor Hochul within the state DOT to invest close to $1 billion to replace a total of 5 bridges in the span of the Bronx River Parkway. And the Sagamore driveway is just one portion of just a small portion of that work. And Anthony will address the driveway issues and the reasons why we've came up with this. We do have our partners here from New York City Parks. Obviously, they have their facility in Ranaqua. I don't know if anyone from NYPD was able to join, but as you know, they do have their highway patrol unit facility as well. Right just north of Ranaqua. So, with that further ado, Anthony, take it away.
Thanks, Rolando. Good evening, everyone. I'm the project manager for Yonkers Contracting and also the community liaison. So as Rolando said, this is a small portion of the job we're focusing on here of the Sagamore Road and Ranaqua Parks area for the new access road. First, I'll go through a slide kind of showing the current conditions we have and what's set up. On the left here is the Ranaqua Parks Yard at the end of Birchall Avenue. And currently there's an on-ramp from Ranaqua here, an off-ramp from the Bronx River Parkway, and what is on paper supposed to be an on-ramp from the highway department, but what is used is both a on and off-ramp currently from the Highway 1 precinct facility. The shared use path through the Bronx also passes along this route. And currently it follows this green route now, where it comes across these on and off ramps. It crosses the sidewalks within the Ranaqua Parks facility, around the front of the building access, and then crosses around the back of the loading docks and continues back onto the shared use path heading south. Currently proposed is what's in the next few slides of how to access the new Highway 1 facility, or the existing Highway 1 facility, and also how the driveway would look, the new exit and on-ramps and off-ramps, and the new shared use path. So what is currently proposed is a driveway with the electric access gate at the end of Sagamore and Unionport. Birchall Avenue is off to the right here, just off the screen. The driveway would sweep in and allow access to the parking lot for NYPD's Highway Patrol Unit 1 facility. The gate would be a key code entrance, key fob entrance with a sliding gate is what we're talking about. To allow only authorized personnel in and out of the police facility. There would be a curb cut with signs. The curb sidewalk would be redone at the end of the street here. And the what this would do is stop traffic from coming off of Parkway northbound, which currently doesn't meet the merge and safety standards for highway design, and allow vehicles to enter and exit out through Sagamore Street. A little further detail as to the gate location would be along the line of the existing gate. There's currently a fence line that runs along the buildings here and along the sidewalks. The curb cuts and detail slope down on both sides, meeting all handicap standards for safety. You can see there is a couple trees here that would need to be removed. The location of this road and the design of this road was to not impact too much of the vegetation in the area, and to also allow for replanting of multiple trees on both sides of the road here. Next slide would be the final setup for the on-ramps. There will no longer be an off-ramp coming on the Bronx River Parkway main line northbound. The Renacqua Parks facility would be able to enter that Bronx River Parkway from their ramp. And on the Highway 1 facility would also have an on-ramp that allows for a merging lane that meets new safety and highway standards and allows cars to safely merge back onto the parkway. There would be no public access through either of these on-ramps. These are purely for the Parks facility and the Highway 1 facility. And this also allows for a new realignment of the shared use path, taking it out of the Renacqua Parks facility. You can see the existing shared use path here. New construction would start in this area. It crosses the two ramps, and instead of coming down this ramp as it does now, it would follow along the northbound side of the Bronx River Parkway. In the next slide, I have a show it a little further. So here you can see in orange, the new shared use path would be completely separate from the Renacqua facility altogether. And then it splits to continue south on the old ramp here. And the old way it goes down to 180th Street underneath the bridge. And then with the new bridge, there'll also be a new path coming across the top of the new bridge on the northbound side. The ramps in green are this is the on-ramp that would be eliminated, and the off-ramp that would be eliminated. The new ramp in dark gray here is the new on-ramp from the Parks facility. And the ramp here from the police station would also they would tie in together and then have a merging lane here to merge onto the northbound Bronx River Parkway. I think that's everything I had to hit on my notes. I do have Q&A as well, but I know we pushed that off to the end. But I will, I can cut and paste this and put it in the chat as well for any questions or anybody has on ways to contact us.
Thank you.
Those visuals were hard to see.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so we're gonna start with transportation. We could go flow, we go transportation, then parks, okay. Let's start with transportation from the committee. Anybody from committee co-chair? Would you like to say something, Amy? No. Would you like to say something?
On which?
Transportation,
Transportation first.
transportation.
Right, so Metro North or, okay, so either one of those two. But first of all, as far as this D 9000059 project, from my understanding,
Wait, we're doing the Metro North first, but sorry if you misunderstood. We're
okay,
doing transportation first and then we're gonna do parks. So Q&A for transportation,
Transportation.
okay.
Metro North.
Presentation.
Sorry.
All right. Okay, then back to Metro North. You said something, so I guess this is to Joe O'Donnell. You said something about the eliminating of the track hardening to try to save time. How is that beneficial? Is there any repercussion in trying to fast track that? And when you say reducing time by 50 minutes, do you mean from end to end it'll take 50 minutes? Or you're saving 50 minutes in overall time?
Sure. So first things first on the track hardening. The track hardening is a requirement that Amtrak has presently imposed on us that once we complete work on a segment of track, they won't let us do any additional work or run any trains over it for a week to sort of let it cure, for lack of a better word, right? We
Right.
think that's overkill, but again, it's their railroad, it's their right of way, so we have to abide by that. We're trying to get them to relax that a bit. Not saying it has to be 12 hours or 24 hours. We don't think it requires a week. So we're trying to minimize that time to do more work. Again, safety comes first, so we're not going to compromise safety for speed or time, but we don't think it needs the week. And then with regard to the 50 minutes time savings, that is based on, that's projections based on using existing mass transit options today and going from point A to point B. So if you were going from Co-op City to Penn Station today, what it would take if you needed to take a cab to a bus or to another subway system, or and then take the subway system into Penn Station. So utilizing, and we have a whole chart which I can share with you. We've shared in the past, and it breaks down what the existing time frames are, the average times are today, and what they will be upon revenue service. Because it's not 50 minutes for everybody. It's for the, that's the extreme case. It's 50-minute savings.
Good question, Debbie. Okay, let's go to Lisa.
Yes, I do have a question. You stated that Amtrak, that it's estimated 2030 if Amtrak quote lives up to their end. Has there been an improvement in the, I guess for lack of a better word, relationship between MTA and Amtrak? Or is it a continual difficulty where a date for the estimated full service is going to be pushed even further?
So I would say the relationship is congenial. I don't think it's adversarial. They want us to get out of their way as well. And a lot of the work we're doing is to upgrade and improve their system. It's in their best interest to see this work completed. It's just sort of trying to get them to not be the dinosaur that they've been in the past. They need to sort of come into the 21st century in some of the way these projects are delivered. So it's not adversarial. It's getting better. It's gotten better even since October, and we've really had some difficult, and when I say difficult, just hard subject matter conversations with them. So they've been receptive to those conversations. So that's a plus, and that's definitely a positive. But we need it to be more about conversation and more about doing now.
Okay. Okay, so I'll go transportation, then we'll turn it over to the parks. Okay, so I'll go quick. My two quick questions for you, and thank you very much for showing up, is one, this temporary thing in 2027. In 1 minute or less, what is the difference between a temporary and a permanent, besides the fact that the platform is shorter?
Not much. It won't have the whole existing structure of the station that would be operable by that time. So it will be a temporary platform on the side. If you've ever used any of the commuter railroads, Metro North or Long Island Railroad, typically when they're doing work on an existing station, they set up temporary platforms either before or after the station to get riders on and off. So it would be more akin to that than a full-on station.
So it'll be a shorter platform, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep.
And would it be ADA accessible?
Good question. Yes. And security and everything will still remain the same?
Yeah, let me double check on that, whether the help point infrastructure and those type of things that would be included in the full station build outs, if there would be temporary. It's a good question on the security. One would anticipate that there would have to be some accommodations made. Maybe it's more physical presence, but let me get back to you on how they plan. Again, this is still theory at this point because we need Amtrak to agree to it. So let me find out about the security question for you.
Okay, let's you can answer also in 30 seconds because I want to go to the next one. So snow is coming, snow is here. So what happens to a big snow blizzard that affects Amtrak, affects Metro North, affects the subways, the buses? Everybody runs to the Morris Park station, well, because Metro North is running. How do we, has the MTA spoken about that scenario?
Under the temporary system or under the full system?
Both, doesn't make a difference.
Well, I mean, it'd be a little more difficult under the temporary system because there, all of the components of the full system would not be in place. But just like anything, if it was snowpocalypse 2027, 28, 29, whatever the case may be, then we would have to deal with that. And that's one of the first orders of business is getting the system up and running again. So the Metro North system is exposed to the elements, unlike the vast majority of the subway system. So it would be more prone to impact and therefore need to first be addressed if there was a major snow event.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're gonna move on to, I could go move on to the parks. Who's here from parks? Who's the parks group? Who's parks? Call on your people.
And for the record, we now have a quorum with the Parks Committee.
Okay. So, call yours, Debbie, call on your people.
So now we can talk about the Rent-A-Quah thing.
You can go first.
Okay. Do you have any questions with the Rent-A-Quah?
No.
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Your presentation photos are a little hard to see, and I guess I'm just trying to understand what is the actual necessity of building a new, I guess, driveway and not using the existing one that, like, why not just share it with parks? It feels like a waste of time, resources, especially if it means that you're gonna be going directly into the backyards of the people that live along Sagamore. And why not just use the existing infrastructure?
So the request of both facilities was to have them operate as separate entities from each other. So the parks facility would be contained within here.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, let me zoom in too. If that helps. So the goal was to have both facilities operate separate from each other.
Yeah, I get that. I live over that area, so I'm very familiar with both the parking lot for parks and like the like that whole area with the Parks and Rec Center, and also where the location is for the police parking lot. And since I've lived here for the last couple of years, I've always wondered why they aren't already connected to just make for ease of transport, because that on-ramp for the cops to go onto the highway is really short. But like, to be honest, all of the on-ramps for that entire stretch for a few miles, it's all really bad. And so the excuse that is an unsafe entry point for cops to get onto, who's ever using that driveway to get onto the highway, it's like, it's all bad. And so at the expense of the people who live in that area and going through directly in their backyard with an organization that I don't think that they would feel very kindly to, this feels like use existing infrastructure that already exists. And also just for the green space, I also don't want the green space disrupted. I know that you're gonna go right up against the fence, because that whole sort of like park area, it often floods in any kind of like light or heavy rain. And so you have to go right up against the fence, which also takes away from the green space of the people that live, directly facing the park. And so it just feels like, I get it, but for the reasons that are provided, I don't necessarily feel like it warrants creating a new structure for a separate entrance or for a separate designated entrance for two city like municipalities that all serve the people. It just feels like a waste of time and resources to me. And so even with your photos, I'm like, it doesn't feel necessary. Sorry, last question, Debbie, can I ask one question? Have you had any conversations at all with the people that live in the building?
Rolando, DOT. The entrance exit that currently exists right now, coming from the parkway, it makes a very unsafe approach, for both incoming and outgoing. I remember back when I was in Con Ed, I would have a Con Ed vehicle and I would go visit the Ranaqua facility and they would say, oh no, just enter through this exit. And it creates a very unsafe condition. Added to the fact, and please understand that we're going to be connecting the shared use path. It's going to be one connected, pathway. It just makes it a very unsafe condition to have cars entering where we're creating two separate exits for these facilities. And again, if I could just stress, the Sagamore driveway was brought upon a request by both city agencies. So if there's a question directed as to the purpose for the driveway, I would best direct that question to both New York City Parks and to NYPD.
So, Anthony, you're the community.
Excuse me, I've got a question.
That's not the committee, is
You're not the committee, hold on.
Just explain what it works for the gallery, because there's a lot of new people here.
No,
There's a
but,
lot of new people here that are very upset about what's going on.
right.
Anthony, can you pull back up your presentation just so we can again have the visual? And then again, the question about outreach to the people that live in the building, has there been any outreach to them? And so we're still gonna.
There was a community outreach meeting
So just
before I took over.
another
the position,
entrance to give
but,
them access to the parking
I
lot.
believe it was sent out to everyone, yes.
I was told that they were not going to, so I'm not sure.
I almost feel like I just need to see it. This is,
No, I see it every day in the morning. And
And then seeing the now, I want to see what the then's gonna be.
So is it possible for us to schedule some sort of a walkthrough with parks, with state DOT so that we can have a better visual? I know you have the satellite view, but it's really difficult for us to kind of picture it. I can only speak to my experience, traveling through Birchall. That's like a little speed zone there going into that Ranaqua. And my concern is that having this new configuration is only gonna make it worse.
yeah,
yes.
agreed.
We just want to stress that this is only for use of NYPD personnel. They will have restrictions in terms of who could enter this property. And right now, we're also going to be working with GPS enabling companies to avoid civilian cars from traversing through Birchall and Sagamore. Because I know that's a concern in terms of the increase of traffic through the roadway. And we understand that these GPS companies do guide cars through these facilities without respective to the fact that this is only for authorized vehicle use only. So we will be working towards getting the GPS companies to pretty much block, cars from act on their GPS to cut through Ranaqua or through the NYPD facility. But the NYPD facility, and Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, they will have some traffic control device where only NYPD vehicles will be able to access through the the highway unit patrol unit.
That's correct. The only access would be authorized vehicles and personnel.
Because you're basically saying it's for the NYPD, and from my understanding, the NYPD does not even want this, number one. Number two, the NYPD, their vehicles can stop and start on a dime basically on their takeoffs. And they flip U-turn, they're the other ones that have to be flipping U-turns on these little areas in the highway. So saying they don't have enough ramp space, it sounds like a bunch of bull, especially when, like, one of the next exits, Allerton. For the average Joe on a car, doesn't have less space than what you're saying you're even giving the NYPD. So it just sounds like a bit of bull, especially since.
But ma'am,
He doesn't want.
ma'am, the shared use path will be one connected roadway. Be that it actually just spills into Ranaqua and then it kind of, like it separates, it divides, and then it comes on. You're almost putting, folks who actually are biking, walking, passing through on the shared use path in direct conflict with these cars that are going into
It's not that big.
entrance or entering what should be
I walk
exits.
it over.
So we're trying to make it safer not only for the folks on the shared use path, but also for the traveling public, to make sure that these are only exits that are coming out of these two facilities to facilitate the flow of traffic for both the shared use path pedestrians and cyclists, but also for the traveling public as well.
I just have two more quick questions. For the purposes, are you looking for like a letter of support to say that we agree with this project?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. You were breaking up.
So are you like looking for a letter of support from the community to support?
No, we presented to both the Jeremy and to the board chair, to Cynthia, a few weeks ago. The request was made to come before the transportation committee, and that's what we're doing. We're bringing an awareness of the project. I mean, obviously there was a news story that came out, so we're here. We're discussing the project in terms of a field visit. I think someone mentioned that in the past. I believe the terrain, it's not the easiest to walk through, navigate, but we wouldn't object to having a field visit.
And then the question I asked before, I feel like no one's answered it. Has anyone spoke to the people, like the residents that live in the building? I haven't, none of you have confirmed that yet. Especially you, Anthony, since you're community outreach.
I don't believe anybody was directly reached out to in that building there, to my knowledge. And the DOT might, the design's been long going before I got involved in this as well. So,
Did you plan on in the building? Or hold some kind of infrastructure for them? Two buildings. The two buildings? Does anyone?
You're going right in the backyard. You're going right out their kitchen window, basically. And nobody's speaking to them?
Nobody reached out to me and I live in the area.
As chairwoman, seems to be that this is a major item that affects building, that affects the community really, and it seems it's coming quicker than my Metro North thing is coming. So I could only recommend just being a board member. I think they should come back to their next Parks meeting, because there's a lot of.
They're just doing it.
No, it's happening.
I understand that fully.
As we stated to Jeremy and Cynthia when we met with them, we received the permits, from Parks to do this work. Obviously this came at the request of the agencies, and we're adhering to facilitate, an access for, the highway patrol unit. Parks wants a dedicated entrance for their department, and then what the the Sagamore entrance. Any disturbance of any vegetation, like Anthony said, is minimal impact, and anything will be replaced in kind that would be removed in this pathway. And again, we're not opposed to doing a walkthrough with whomever from this committee wants to do a walkthrough. But obviously, we would have to coordinate with both Parks and with NYPD, so therefore they could also be part of this walkthrough as well.
Yeah, Parks is on this call? Parks is on.
There's a few people from.
NYPD is not.
Like nothing has been discussed with the community?
Yeah, because what was it? I saw Valerie, I saw Aponte, Yeah, Katharina,
There might be.
Can somebody from Parks answer the question as to why the community hasn't been informed or anything mentioned to the people who live there?
Not getting an answer for that.
crickets?
Not getting an
Yeah,
answer.
it's
Not
nothing,
getting an answer.
because I live there, I would have known.
I know, I hear what he said, he's correct, it's a fait accompli, but could there be a town hall where all this neighborhood comes out and has their voice, channel 12, channel 6, channel whatever, at least let them all speak at the same time. I have 5 representatives here, 10, I'm sure that whole building is not too happy about this.
Look at
Yeah, I see it, I see it.
Yeah.
The odds are, it can't be stopped, but at least you get your voices heard, and you're not getting answers here. And I'm just a transportation, I'm just saying what I'm.
All right.
Can we do that? Okay, Mr. Chair.
I think it's an idea.
It's an idea. Okay, so now, let's get to.
Gallery,
Just watching the Gabriel.
Oh, I thought it- Oh, okay, so can we go now in this order, Mr. Chairman? Can we go, let's go backwards this time, be fair to the.
in the galleries, there's people that signed up first.
I know, that's what I'm doing it. So let's go gallery first. And then we'll take questions from the public for the 2 presentations, and then we'll move on. Is that good? Want to do that, right? Good.
First one was Miguel.
Okay, go ahead. Gallery.
Okay, so we have Parks and DOT and NYPD, correct?
It seems that way.
It seems that way. All right, in the interest of time, I'm just gonna ask, 5 questions. And you guys can, answer them on your own time. First of all, have there been any accidents on that, entrance to the existing entrance to the highway patrol? And or have there been any incidents with bikers or anyone else using the greenway? The second question is, do you realize that this road that you're saying is going to minimally affect anybody will be 50 feet, less than 50 feet from someone's living room? And not to mention the floors above. And the NYPD does use specialized vehicles, so that's gonna be diesel exhaust going into a building that is literally less than 50 feet from where you want to build this road. Second of all, it's a blind corner at Unionport and Sagamore.
Yeah.
You cannot see around the corner, and it will require people to cross oncoming traffic to go into that. So it just seems like a cluster F. And as far as access goes, okay, you guys say that you're gonna put, a card thing or whatever. But quite frankly, if you go on Birchall Avenue, it's limited access into Renacqua. But guess what? They fly down there all the time, all the cars. So I don't, I don't believe that. And we're not talking about a new bridge at 180th or anything else. We're talking about the street that you guys want to put, and you said a couple trees. Well, it is 29 trees. I live there. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, gallery for either one? Next gallery, everyone.
Can you answer the question?
If they have answers, I'm willing to listen.
I'm sorry, I know you wanna go home.
No, I just want, you've not been getting answers before, but we could try again. Go ahead.
Can you answer any one of those 5 questions?
So, I'm Samuel Rodriguez, a project manager with the Department of Transportation. To answer your first 2 questions about incidents in this entrances near the Greenway, while we've been on site, we have no record of any incidents in this area.
The answer is no.
Correct. The answer is no. Then I'd just like to reiterate the goal of the Department of Transportation here. We are doing a highway improvement, which is impacting the greenway in a way where the existing non-standard entrance and exits now need to be upgraded. So in doing so, in doing so, we need to interact with two other agencies, that's PD and Parks, and we are trying to accommodate their needs for operational independence as we propose this entrance from Sagamore. So if there is something to be said about what those needs are, I don't believe it is my place or the place of the Department of Transportation to say how this impacts each of their operations. I think that's a conversation that needs to be of a broader scope and include all three agencies. I've refrained from answering some of those questions because I don't think I'm the appropriate person to answer them. As I said, the DOT's role here is to facilitate the needs of the other two agencies.
Sure, but the buck stops with you guys. You're the ones doing it.
Okay, we're not gonna go back and forth.
Miguel? Miguel?
And sorry, this is excuse me, this is Brendan Sheriff from New York City Parks. I just want to clarify another point here, because I think there's a bit of clarification that needs to be made. The greenway condition does not exist in the current configuration. So when we're talking about history of accidents, we're talking about something that doesn't yet exist in the real world. It hasn't been built yet. The configuration, while it's non-standard now in its current form, sure, it will be even more exacerbated by the realignment of the greenway. So I think that's part of the consideration that has to be made here as well.
Okay, thank you. Also gallery.
Yeah, sure.
I'm here tonight as chair of Bronx Park East Community Association. We have over 2,000 members of our Facebook group. We work successfully with the Parks Department on many projects, including reconstruction of Waring Playground, Zimmerman Playground, the new skate park design at Allerton, the Pelham Parkway Greenway widening. We've also worked well with CAC and their community liaison on the Pelham Parkway reconstruction, and with NYC DOT on the recent White Plains Road safety improvements. Anthony, very nice to meet you. We're ready to work with you now. We appreciate that state DOT paused work to allow for this meeting, and appreciate the time our elected reps, especially Assemblymember Zaccaro, have put into conversations and fact-finding. Thanks to 49th Precinct Captain Stapleton for bringing Deputy Inspector Juan Torrero of Highway Unit 1 to a precinct council meeting to answer questions. He understands our dismay at losing parkland and even volunteered to help us plant more trees. Because the project's turning natural growth parkland into a road that runs right next to a residential building, we feel strongly state DOT must work in full transparency with us. Standard procedure for parks is to have a community input session before they finalize a design for any infrastructure in a park, and then present the design incorporating at least some of the community input to the community board for official approval. State DOT didn't do any of this, nor have parks done it. We do have a promise in writing from Parks to liaison on scope and timeline, and they've explained their need for a road not to interfere with their operations. We want to know why the road needs to be so close to the residential building, how to safely design the entrance, which cuts through a sidewalk by a school bus pickup spot and an oncoming lane of traffic at a blind corner, and it's not aligned with the correct lane. A clear timeline for the project, clear visuals of how trees and foliage will be replanted, assurance that residents will still have access directly into the park. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, gallery, anybody else registered?
Any answers?
Any answers from online?
Response?
Anybody want to speak online?
Any of the
Representative.
representatives? Thank you, that was.
So you mentioned consulting with the community before finalizing the plans. The nature of this project is also a design build project. So we have our contractor working on those plans as we speak. The work that was going on when the news story came out about this entrance was survey and layout. We were not prepared, and we are not prepared right now to remove trees. So we're looking forward to engaging with the community
They're all
And
tagged.
they were tagged for surveying. So we're looking forward to engaging with the community and reaching an amicable resolution to all of your concerns.
Thank you.
Okay.
You'll be here.
Sorry, will the time be given for gallery? Did that happen already?
We're to go, we're just starting, we just started into the gallery.
Okay, is there anybody here that wants to speak in the gallery? Anybody left? Okay. Did he register? You have to register?
No.
Good. Go.
Yeah, I'm the one who found this a couple of years ago because I read through all the RFPs. But I just need a refresher. So this NYPD driveway was added later.
Yeah.
Added later. But I can't recall if the on-ramp reconfiguration you're doing, if that was done before. So I'm just wondering, why was the driveway, why was the driveway added later after I think the on-ramp configuration was already going to be happening?
The driveway was added later because we were still discussing potential solutions with Parks and NYPD.
So what other alternatives were discussed, if any?
Well, what we were looking at was to maintain the access and exit from the parkway side, but our design parameters don't really allow for that to be done in a safe manner. So we tested a couple of configurations. None of them were adequate for intersecting with the greenway at the design speed.
Go on, sir.
This is Brennan Sheriff, New York City Parks again. Because it's a design build project and this piece is relatively separate from the highway engineering, we at Parks also felt comfortable letting the remainder of the work go out to bid so that they could get the work underway while we figured out this configuration.
What would you like to say, Ms.?
Lisa has got to leave and we have the Propel Energy letter of support on the agenda. Is it possible for us to move to that quickly?
I was gonna table that. Sorry, what? Why? Because it was just brought to know it was
In September, it was brought up last month.
That's an
Commitment from,
We said we were gonna vote on it during this meeting.
it is a letter of support for Propel Energy Transmission Project. We've discussed it since September. They've come to us 3 times. They had our word that we would bring it up this month. We have a quorum of the Parks Committee. Can we just move on and vote on whether or not we're going to offer a letter of support for the Propel Energy Transmission Project? That's all.
Who's got to vote on that?
It was in Park Sanitation, yeah.
It's parks, okay. I'm not saying anything. I'm transportation.
I think it's about that.
We didn't have a discussion on it. All of this got put on the plate. We were supposed to table it so we can discuss it. Did we discuss it?
3 times.
3 times prior to December.
It was brought, okay. Does the committee, the members of the Parks Committee here feel ready to vote on whether or not the Propel Energy Project is getting a letter of support from us?
I feel.
Everyone got the slides. They've been to us 3 times.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it done with.
Yeah.
1, 2. Jackie, you're 5.
And Joe.
Well, I'm gonna abstain because I didn't do enough homework on this.
That's okay.
I'm okay to vote.
So do you guys, because I'm a ex officio, so I get tired of So someone has to make the motion.
Motion to vote on a letter of support for the Propel Energy Transmission Project.
Somebody has to second.
Second.
Seconded by Lisa. Who, who's abstaining?
Joe,
So
I'm abstaining.
we have 3 abstentions.
I'm for it.
I'm for it.
Who's the other abstention? Joby? Jeff,
Debbie, Joe, and so it does.
Debbie, Joe, and who?
Debbie and Joe are the abstentions.
No, it's 2 and 2. 2 abstentions and 2,
No, because Debbie said she's abstaining.
yeah,
Debbie
Debbie,
and Joe.
who's the third?
Debbie, Joe, and Jackie. Oh, I didn't abstain. Okay, so are you in favor or against?
I think I'm against.
Okay.
I don't like the fact that there's not a lot of coordination and they keep ripping the streets up, each one after the other. I'd like to see more cooperation, so there's only 1 or 2 rip-ups.
Okay. Oh, to no. So 2 abstaining, 1 against, and 2 for.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
Okay, I think Mr. Sniffles is gone. The one that had the cold.
Oh.
Yes. Joseph had the cold.
Gabriel's question was for him?
I have a question for him, but it's not a big deal. I have a question for the other one. It's just logistics.
Go back to the parks. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a logistical question. I'm not a huge fan of greenways going, as a person who bikes, I'm not a huge fan of greenways going through highway ramps. And I was wondering, can you clarify that this greenway that you're proposing, the movement of it, is still going through highway ramps?
Yeah, they're not making it right.
So those ramps are not open to the public. They're authorized vehicle use only. So you got 2 off ramps, one for the park.
The parkway.
Greenway though, the greenway is still going over ramps though. That's my question.
Yes, the answer to your question is yes. It's going over entrances to the parkway, which should not be approached at the same speed as if you were exiting the parkway onto the facilities.
Okay.
Okay, so can I
There's
ask?
there's a stop control too, right?
Okay,
Can I ask a
That's
question?
correct.
We're gonna get everybody. I just gotta make sure Joseph is not there. Joseph, anybody see Joseph there?
No, don't see Joe.
Not, okay. So now what we have to do, we have to go to the scoreboard up there and take everybody that wants to speak only now about the parks situation with NYPD, so on and so forth. Our representative from MTA, I think we lost. Okay, so Debbie, it's all yours. Pick them out.
Still want a hand up.
And it's Tori.
Oh, and then Joyce.
It's Tori.
Hi. Yeah, I'm on. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, first for giving us this platform. So I'm actually a resident at one of the buildings that this will be crossing in front of, and I could tell you that the way the people come in to that back entrance is outrageous. Okay, and I think if you guys build this ramp in front, we know for sure they are going to use the same speed that they use in the back, that I've almost gotten hit on multiple times because of those trucks coming in at full speed, my car backing out of the parking lot. I look once, I look twice, there's another car flying down. I'm walking, crossing the street to get to the train station, there's another car flying down. There is no control, and if you put that road in the front, I can assure you there will be no control as well. I don't understand why our community was not reached out to when this is being built right in front of our buildings. And I know there was a gentleman there that kept asking, have you reached out to the community? Have you reached out to the community? And I can answer you that they have not. So I'm very confused how you could build such a disruptive road right in front of our buildings without considering the very livelihood of the people that live there. I understand NYPD parks might be wanting a road there, but at the end of the day, there's already a road that's being built, and there's no reason for another additional road to be built in front of there. There are children that cross through there. I myself have lived there for more than 20 years. I crossed through there as a child myself, so I don't understand why there needs to be a road just for NYPD to cross there. And let's be frank, there are already cars that cross through there unsafely regardless. So that needs to be controlled. There are kids. I am a cyclist. You kept mentioning that it would be safer for cyclists. I do not feel safe cycling through the back road where parked buses and parked trucks come in flying down the road. And I can't foresee a safe future for my community where those type of vehicles or NYPD whatsoever are crossing through that ramp right in front of our building. That is unacceptable to me. So I don't understand why our community was not engaged before even designing this proposal. I work as a designer at a company as well, not in the same way, but one of the important parts of the design process is to do research, to ask, to inquire about the people that whose life this is going to impact. And I think this was completely disrespectful to disregard our community in that way when it's literally happening right in front of our buildings. And I don't understand, if this was the Upper East Side, you guys would not consider this. You guys would tell those people to use the same exact road that they use. You guys wouldn't be forcing them to suddenly build a new road right in front of our building. That's outrageous.
Thank you.
Okay, Joy,
You want to survive people to have 2 minutes?
Joy.
Hello, I'm sorry. I completely agree with her because nobody definitely reached out to me. I work, I come in and out the building. No one has reached out to me. The only reason I found out about it was through a flyer next to the elevator. No one, like, the cars are very dangerous in that area, and you guys want to add the cop cars. They already speed through that area and don't give regards to no one. So you got like building that, and you don't live in the area, so you don't have to deal with the construction. You don't have to deal with the noise. You live where you live at. The people that live in the area got to deal with that, and that's something that's gonna take 2, 3, 4 years to deal with. So you don't have to deal with it. The money's being given, but you guys are like, oh well, this was a decision that was already made. That's messed up for us, that the people that live here that pay bills here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so
Just one more.
one more,
AJ Ramos.
AJ Ramos,
Hello, can you hear me?
loud and clear.
Yes, I just wanted to say that these people that live close to here do not own the park. If the Parks Department and the Police Department are reaching out saying that they need help and to make this safer, I think it should be welcomed. Your sister agency, you should not be fighting the governor on these situations. When they reach out to the DM, to the chair, that is them reaching out to the community. The DM, it looks like, dropped the ball once again without reaching those words out to these residents. And I feel like that's where that misinformation bubble comes from. As somebody that has asked this board, I don't know what happened to the request, to fix the Marshallou Pelham Greenway that leads down into here, it is just yet another failure of the Greenway and these bicyclists. You have is going through the whole parkway, going down and around parking lots where they zoom by. It's unsafe. So to make it safer, we should welcome that. These people that live close here don't own the park. If the park is for everybody, the public good should be valued. Having the cops get to the park through both sides is a good thing. Having the park workers have a place to drive safely and not run us over is a good thing. As a rollerblader, there's a skate park right up. And can people stop interrupting, please? This whole meeting, there's a baby crying, there's people in the back talking. Have some decorum. Some of you have been removed, and I understand that there's conflicts of interest with people living close by. I have former members, but come on now. Lastly, I'll leave it with, you should be welcoming these changes. Doing nothing has led us to these situations where these mass disinvestments and disenfranchisements of these neighborhoods, now that we're having a way to connect to them, you don't want them. You don't want to help the police. When did CB11 become anti-police and anti-parks? Thank you.
There's no
Thank
highway.
you.
Okay, that looks like gallery. I don't see any more hands, correct? Okay, good. Okay, so Ms. Chairwoman, so what I said before is I'm a firm believer it ain't over till it's over. And I've gone through a lot of town halls here, so on and so forth. I guess it's your decision or whoever's decision, the DM's decision, if this warrants a town hall where the whole neighborhood could come out and speak out of their concerns. Will anything change? Don't know, but it's worth a try.
Well, I know that Jeremy has his district service cabinet meeting on Thursday.
Okay.
I'm hoping that the same representatives will be on at that point. We can have another conversation about having another bigger meeting where we can hear from more people and maybe have a little more input on the whole
I have a
situation.
question for the people that live around there. You might notice this, or maybe you notice this. Have the politicians been involved at all?
Well,
John Caro, yeah.
the Caro.
After the fact, correct?
Yes.
After they started surveying, we went to John Zakaro.
Okay,
And he's working with Senator Gustavo Rivera's office. They're trying to see, he's actually like introducing legislation so that this can't happen. But that's not helping us
Okay.
right now here.
okay. You do have a new councilwoman, I believe, so.
Yes, we do.
How's that?
And so that'll
Okay.
be interesting. Okay, I do want to say, just for the record, that there were far more people that were ready to speak. That
Well, that's why I made us skip in two separate meetings. Okay, we can't go backwards. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody that spoke at the gallery session. Motions, I think we did one already, so that was done. Old business, anybody have anything that's old from both committees? Going once?
Transportation wise, yes, I'm still, especially that we got a new transportation commissioner. I still want more asphalt based signage on Pelham Parkway at Boston Road for the left turn lane. There's only one turn arrow painted on the asphalt. You got one car that's over it at the red light and nobody behind them knows. And then green light happens and then everybody in the left lane is cutting everybody else off. So I'm revisiting that I want more asphalt based,
And Hazel's going to talk about the shelter.
and speaking of the Sagamore area, they made Sagamore a one-way on the other side of the 5 frame. And there's no signage saying these vehicles cannot make the left turn. There's no signage saying do not enter, wrong way. And when I'm coming through with my bus, people are trying to play chicken with me.
my neighborhood.
Okay.
I drive the bus today.
Rabbi, I'm sorry to interject. This is Rolando from State DOT. Do you have any more questions for us, or?
DOT is dismissed.
All right, thank you very much.
We see you at the district service cabinet on Thursday.
Oh, wait, don't let him go yet.
If Jeremy sends the invite, I'll be there. Thank you.
All right. I'll say
Right.
For Orlando.
Yes, one more question. Have you connected with New York City DOT about the entrance for the access road off Sagamore and Unionport and exactly how that's going to work? And whether you need to install a traffic light there now or a crosswalk or stop sign or because it's a 90-degree blind corner. And the way it lines up, the direction that you've been driving in is too far to the left to enter where the access road starts.
Let's say there are conversations with City DOT.
Ma'am, this would not be converted into an intersection. It's a driveway access, so there wouldn't be need for a light. We can reach out to City DOT. We can always go the extra mile, but unlikely that this will require a traffic light.
Okay, Miss Hazel would like to say something.
Yeah, I just want to be on the record regarding the lighting on White Plains Road by the 39 bus stop. As everybody knows, I've always said that it's a dangerous situation there. There's no adequate lighting, and I'm sick and tired of bringing this up at every meeting, and nothing has been done yet, so.
I don't think we even know Hazel is responsible for it yet.
It doesn't matter.
I'm saying we don't know.
DOT or whoever needs to.
DOT,
figure out who's responsible and do something about
You
it.
talking about under the train?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have something that came up on Facebook, sometime, was it this week, Diana? The Bronx Parkies, the lights.
Oh, yeah, or last week, yes.
Yeah, so apparently like there's an entire basically strip along Bronx Parkies. Is that
The
outside?
street lights or the park
I
lights?
think it's the
On the
street.
park side, the street lights on the park side.
Street lights on the park side.
Yeah, a bunch of them are
So
out.
it's DOT.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, we have New York City DOT, yeah.
Yeah, I'll mention it at the district service cabinet, but just wanted to put it on the record.
Yeah.
Good. I have all my regular DOT questions, which I don't think I've got answers to, but we'll talk about it one day. Okay, anybody else with old business?
Oh,
The old business, AJ actually mentioned it. He discussed, maintenance to a certain, and we discussed it at a meeting. I don't know if you remember. We had the map up and we were trying to figure out which little path in, I think it was Bronx Park East. Just something for us.
Greenway.
Yes.
That's what you said.
Yes, the Marshall Pelham Greenway, how we can advocate for some improvements to that area, in terms of maintenance. So, but I'll bring that up at the, district service cabinet on Thursday. as well.
Thank you. Next, we go on to the famous new business.
Well, the new business, already did the vote for the Propel.
They removed that. I think I got an email. They're moving that, tabling that to the next meeting.
This is.
Right, he says he's putting it in, just as an FYI, we were not discussing it because all the pieces were not in place yet.
I did read that.
Yeah. As far as also new business, 2260 Barker, there's no marking for the speed bump. They did road work over there, so we need marking for the speed bump over there.
Okay. Duly noted. Anybody else have anything that's new? No?
Well,
Is it related to walkthrough? No, I really would like,
okay, oh,
you know,
what you were talking about.
I can't hear you.
getting a walkthrough for the space that they're talking about behind the building. Like, I don't think it's new business, but when and how can we get everyone at least on something, some kind of change?
Another Jeremy.
You can call me and I'll walk you right through.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's an email to.
I have a question for those that do live in this area.
Yeah.
This intersection, for those that are in the room that could see what I'm pulling up,
Yeah.
is there any signage here at the corner?
No.
So it's just
It's just.
a right turn, no left turn.
Yeah.
So they need to make it for them to do what they're saying they're doing over here, they need to make it a proper intersection with some sort of traffic control device.
I'd rather they just didn't put it up.
Well,
If they were going to, that would be probably smart.
right,
Because those people fly down Unionport,
They do.
turn onto Sagamore, they do the same thing. It's a blind corner. You can see how far that building goes up. Like
yeah.
to the sidewalk, you can't see anything right there. And so that was my concern as far as safety. And where that tree is on the left, next to the building, that is where all the kids get picked up in the morning for school. Miss school bus. So they're all right there. And where are they gonna get picked up now?
I mean, it can still be picked up at the corner, but like I'm saying, it needs to be a proper traffic controlled corner now. If they do what they said they're gonna do, which we know the city does what they wanna do, and the state even more.
I'm gonna change do it.
But yeah, they need to traffic control that corner. Either it's gonna have to be an order stop.
Stop signs are used.
Yes.
If you see Bronx Park East, the train station right there.
Yeah.
That's a four-way stop also.
Yeah.
Vertical Avenue.
They don't stop.
No, they
They do not stop. No, they don't.
Ever. That's a four-way stop. They don't ever stop. And then the NYPD highway right now.
Here.
Station, they don't stop at all, right there.
Yeah.
And then the highway guys, they speed down Birchall right there.
Yeah.
And go in that way.
Right.
And that's right behind my house that's where I walk my dog. Do you see that little C? Right there.
And this is where I'm confused, like that whole, it feels like there's an easy way to just connect, to have an entryway.
Right
where these, like,
in between. So there's highway patrol right there.
Right.
You got it, Debbie. And then right underneath it, right there.
That's part.
There is a tiny, tiny little piece of cement between those two parking lots.
We should have been sharing the screens here.
That's exactly.
It's on.
Yeah.
They could connect it so easily that would be cheaper and better for everybody, and they wouldn't have to knock down 29 old growth trees.
But Parks doesn't want anyone driving,
But they don't want-
people driving through their parking lot.
Why? Did they give it? They want separation, I think, right?
Yeah, and they also don't wanna have to deal with the, they store a lot of equipment around here and don't wanna have to deal with.
Listen, do we have any records, of history on these locations? Are there records of accidents and deaths?
No accidents.
I asked.
No,
You just said.
Is there a record of any problems there?
Nope.
He said no.
I said no.
no.
Okay.
So we're.
I don't mean to interrupt, but when I said no accidents, I was talking on the Parkway side where there's access to the facilities right now. And I was being specific to the time that we've been under construction of the bridge. I don't know the historical accident data at the Burchell side or the other side from a time where we haven't been on site.
1 second, no. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, but I think we should look at the records and see exactly what the past is.
Thank you.
Okay. I make, does anybody have anything important to say?
TBD.
TBD, motion to adjourn at 8:57 PM, New York City time.
Second.
Thank you for coming, everybody. Thank you, Gary.
Who's second?
Thank you all.
Well,
I was talking about.
Good night, everybody. Have a happy new year. Woo, 2026, here we come.